Guten Tag, Deutschland. It is a profound privilege to be asked by your Defence Minister to deliver a message to you on this sacred Veterans Day. My last visit to your remarkable country was to Düsseldorf 2 years ago for the Invictus Games, and it remains etched in my memory. The warmth, the enthusiasm, and the unwavering support shown by the German people for our global community of wounded service personnel was truly humbling. You certainly delivered on your promise to create a home for respect. That spirit of camaraderie, forged on the sports field, mirrors the unbreakable bond that connects veterans of all nations. We understand each other, regardless of flag or uniform, bound by shared experiences and an enduring commitment to service. Veterans are more than warriors. They are leaders. Living testaments to resilience and moral courage, they understand that loyalty must never lie with power alone, but with the people and with truth. As someone who has worn the uniform and stood shoulder to shoulder with brothers and sisters in arms from across the world, including many of you, I know that the weight of service is not carried lightly. We serve not to glorify war, but to protect peace. Not to follow a single voice, but to uphold a collective oath. To country, to people, and to the principles that bind us together as free nations. Germany has shown the world unity can be turned into strength. At times, your role in safeguarding peace and stability in Europe has never been more critical. To the brave men and women of the Bundeswehr, a heartfelt thank you for your steadfast service to your country, to your people, and to one another. Today is also a celebration of you, the values you stand for, the oath you took, and the great country you stand to protect. Today, let us renew our commitment, together, to protect the freedoms that define who we are, to serve each other for peace, for dignity, and for the enduring promise of democracy. Vielen Dank und einen schönen Tag.
Welcome back, my Royal Sussex Squad family. I hope you're all doing well today. I'm so glad you've chosen to spend your time with me because we have a lot to unpack. The latest headlines once again show just how low the royal rota and certain so-called sources are willing to go to paint Harry and Meghan as villains while propping up the palace's chosen image of perfection. The latest spin, that Prince William, the same William who once stood shoulder to shoulder with his brother, the same William who was godfather to Archie, is now so emotionally detached from Harry that he doesn't even mention him. That Harry, who has done nothing but extend olive branch after olive branch, is simply erased from his brother's mind. Let's really sit with that for a moment, Squad. Imagine the cruelty of that narrative. They want us to applaud William for acting as though his brother doesn't exist, as though the years they spent together, the shared grief, the laughter, the bond, all of it means nothing. They want to tell us that William has moved on, that this is strength. But let me ask you, is that strength, or is it coldness? Is it maturity? Or is it a calculated move by a man who has been coached by palace advisors to protect the institution above all else, even above family? And let's not forget how we got here. Harry didn't wake up one day and decide to leave his brother behind. No. Harry tried. Harry tried for years to navigate that impossible space where he was expected to be loyal to a family that wasn't loyal to him. To smile through the pain, to protect an institution that didn't protect his wife, his children, or himself. From the day Meghan entered that family, the attacks began. And what did William do? What did the palace do? They stayed silent. They stayed complicit. And when Harry reached his breaking point, when he chose to put the safety and well-being of his wife and children first, they called him a traitor. The press loves to talk about how William has been fiercely protective of his children, of how he wants to shield them from the chaos he experienced growing up. And that's admirable. Every parent should want that for their kids. But why is Harry's determination to protect Archie and Lily painted as wrong? Why is Harry's decision to move his family away from the toxic environment of the palace, an environment that we now know contributed to Meghan's suicidal thoughts, seen as abandonment rather than courage? The double standard is glaring. And let's not kid ourselves, Squad. The timing of these articles is not a coincidence. Every time Harry and Meghan have a success, every time they show the world that they're thriving, Here come the William PR pieces, when Meghan's as ever sells out. When Harry's Invictus Games moves hearts and minds globally. Suddenly, the rota drops a William doesn't care about Harry piece. They want to shift the focus to remind us who they think the real royal hero is. But the squad isn't fooled. We see what's happening. We see how the media tries to pit brother against brother because it serves the institution, because it keeps people from asking the hard questions. And here's another thing. This idea that William's so-called detachment is somehow healthy. Since when is cutting off your own family healthy? Since when is pretending your brother doesn't exist a virtue? Real strength is facing the truth. Real courage is picking up the phone, having the hard conversation, offering forgiveness and working toward healing. Harry has tried. He said in interviews, he said in Spare, he said it time and again, he wants reconciliation. But how can you reconcile with someone who won't even acknowledge your existence? Let's not forget. These two brothers went through so much together. The loss of their mother at such a young age, the pressure of growing up in the spotlight, the pain of watching their family fall apart. And now we're supposed to believe that William has achieved some kind of peace by erasing his brother from his heart? No, squad. What we're seeing is a man trapped by duty, by expectation, by image, a man who may not even realize how much he's lost by letting the institution dictate his relationships. And let's talk about the palace's role in all this. The institution thrives on controlling the narrative, and William has chosen, or perhaps been forced, to play his part. It's safer for the palace if William is the unbothered future king, the devoted father, the man too busy with his own responsibilities to deal with his problematic brother. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan are portrayed as the disruptors, the complainers, the outsiders. But the truth is that Harry and Meghan are the ones who had the courage to break free, to create a life on their own terms, to protect their children from the very harm they endured. I want us to remember that while William is praised for being a hands-on dad, Harry gets no credit for doing the same. Harry is the one who makes breakfast for Archie, who plays in the garden with his kids, who reads them bedtime stories, who teaches them about compassion and kindness. But the press doesn't want to tell that story, because if they did, it would shatter the image they've worked so hard to create, that of Harry as the villain, the deserter, the ungrateful spare. And through it all, Meghan remains a pillar of grace. Imagine being Meghan, watching the family you married into not only fail to protect you, but actively harm you. Watching your husband be torn apart by the press, blamed for every perceived slight, mocked for choosing love and integrity, and yet she continues to rise, she continues to build, she continues to lead with kindness, dignity and strength. That, my friends, is what true royalty looks like. Now, let's look at the bigger picture. These stories about William's detachment aren't just about William and Harry. They're about protecting the image of the monarchy. They're about distracting the public from the real issues, the cost of the monarchy to taxpayers, the palace's mishandling of crises, the need for accountability. They use William and Harry's rift as a soap opera to keep people invested in the drama rather than demanding real change. But here's what the squad knows. Harry and Meghan don't need the palace's approval. They don't need the media's validation. They are building a legacy far beyond the walls of any castle. Through Archewell, through their charity work, through their advocacy for mental health, gender equality, veterans and vulnerable communities, they are making the kind of impact that truly matters. So the next time you see one of these headlines, remember, they are part of a coordinated effort to distract, to divide, to discredit, but the truth shines through. Harry and Meghan are living proof that you can break the cycle, that you can choose love over duty, that you can build a life of purpose, even in the face of relentless opposition. Prince Harry is no longer mentioned by Prince William as royal rift enters new stage. The brothers have not seen or spoken to each other since their grandmother's funeral. Prince William has reached a point of complete emotional detachment from his younger brother, Prince Harry, with those close to the heir to the throne claiming he no longer mentions or even thinks about the Duke of Sussex. The brothers have not seen or spoken to each other since their grandmother's funeral in September 2022. Their relationship appears irreparably damaged following the Sussexes' departure from royal duties in 2020 and the subsequent public revelations. Despite Harry's recent BBC interview expressing desire for reconciliation while simultaneously criticising the family, William remains unmoved. A friend told The Times, "What has struck me the most recently is that he just doesn't mention it at all." Despite Harry's recent BBC interview expressing desire for reconciliation while simultaneously criticising the family, William remains unmoved. A friend told The Times, "What has struck me the most recently is that he just doesn't mention it at all." But he's not letting it get to him at all anymore. It is a change. It's sad, but it's a much healthier space for him to be at. The transformation from rage to indifference represents a profound emotional journey for William. Where once Harry's actions consumed his thoughts, the future king has now achieved a state of complete detachment from his brother's ongoing public commentary. William, quote, "S priorities have crystallized around providing his children with the stable upbringing he himself lacked." A friend observed that he has always been fiercely protective of George, Charlotte and Louis, determined to shield them from the turmoil he experienced during his parents' marriage breakdown and his mother's death when he was just 15. During Kate's hospitalization and chemotherapy treatment last January, William reduced his public engagements to maintain normality at home. The couple continue sharing school runs to Lambrook from Adelaide Cottage, attending their children's sporting events and school performances. William was recently seen poolside holding Charlotte's sports bag during a swimming competition. These ordinary parental moments reflect his commitment to being present for his children in ways his own childhood circumstances didn't always permit. The Waleses have navigated this challenging year by maintaining their principle of putting family first, despite occasional criticism. A source close to the couple noted their appreciation for public backing. "When you're going through a tough time like that, and you've got a lot of tough choices to make in terms of protecting your family, the public support and having had the time to be a husband and father through it all was important." The couple have consistently expressed gratitude in their public messages throughout Kate's illness. Jamie Lowther-Pinkerton, former principal private secretary to William, Kate and Harry, told the publication, "I think it has demonstrated William's character and his courage. He's had to take the whole thing in his stride and shown that he won't be pushed around. And before I go, I want to thank you, the Royal Sussex Squad. You are part of this journey. Your support, your voices, your compassion, they matter. They help counter the hate, the lies, the manipulation. If you value what we do here, if you believe in standing up for truth, for fairness, for Harry and Meghan, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up and leave your comments below. Let's keep this conversation going. And if you'd like to go the extra mile, consider donating through Super Thanks. It helps us keep fighting the good fight and bringing you the truth. Until next time, stay kind, stay wise, and always remember, we've got Harry and Meghan's back.